Yesterday, I checked out Wonder Woman 1984 in IMAX, but you can check it out at home as it is streaming on HBO Max as well. Wonder Woman 1984 is about, well, it's exactly what you think it's about. It's about a superhero who's trying to take down supervillains. But this movie has a lot more heart than the other DC movies. Okay, I'll say all of the other DC movies. This movie is about love. That's a strong theme in this movie. The heart of this movie is the relationship between Gal Gadot's Diana, Wonder Woman, and Chris Pine's Steve Trevor. And that relationship is so strong, I really believe it. Whereas in a lot of other movies in the DC world, I didn't really believe the relationships, and I didn't feel them as potent as I feel this one. Even more so than in the first movie. They rev it up. They up the stakes of their love here. This movie is also about inner beauty and the ugliness that comes with greed. We see this mainly in Pedro Pascal's Maxwell Lord, as he seeks to steal the good fortune of others. The villain here really works for me. Pedro Pascal is great as Maxwell Lord. It seems like he had a lot of fun making creative choices as an actor. Also, I think the plot runs strongly through him, so the script gives him a lot to work with. This movie is plot heavy. There is a lot going on. There's a strong B plot that could have been stronger. Unfortunately, where this movie strives with its plot, it sort of falters with its development of relationships. They do a great job of building up characters, introducing them, and having them grow and change throughout the movie, but it's the relationships that seem weak, besides Diana and Steve Trevor. Diana has a great opportunity to deepen a relationship with Kristen Wiig's Cheetah character. And they start doing this, but then it sort of, falters. They sort of just forget about it as they develop Diana and Steve's relationship. Also, Pedro Pascal doesn't really have a strong relationship to anyone else in this movie. We see a little bonding between him and his son, but the lines are so heavy-handed and sort of cheesy that it doesn't feel as real as Steve and Diana. So I didn't quite believe that relationship. Also, we don't really get to see Pedro Pascal's character just living a normal day. We often movies just trying to jump into things, which is great. I like a movie with energy. But this was a 2.5-hour movie, so they had time to just sort of let us meet these people before the action starts taking place. And because it's a DC movie and a bunch of fans are coming to see it, you already have the audience's attention, so you don't need to beg for it right away, diving right into an action sequence, which this movie does. The opening sequence of this film is extravagant, and it feels epic, which, you want a lot of those things in a big budget movie like Wonder Woman, and I'm glad that they sort of went extravagant with this film. It was the only big budget movie, really, besides Tenet, that we've gotten to enjoy since, the shutdown, since the pandemic. So I loved seeing the extravagance, but it fails to really add much to the story. It adds one important thing, but I really don't think that we needed it to be added there. We could have had it added in a flashback, and we kind of do have it added in a flashback when the moment becomes important. Another oddity of this film is the introduction to Diana's Wonder Woman right after that extravagant opening sequence. It's a series of crimes or near-death experiences that she swoops in and she saves the day. It just felt really campy. And it felt fun, too, though. It felt fun, and I kind of got to feel like, are we just going to watch a fun, campy movie here? And no, that's not what this movie is about. So it's weird because it has a different tone than the rest of the movie. It doesn't feel like the characters are real or taking, you know, the stakes seriously. Like, there's a bank robbery, and the guys just seem like kind of jokey characters. They don't really seem like there's no threat there. So I feel like that should have been reworked and sort of shot in the same vein that the rest of the movie is, grounded and real. Another faltering in this movie is the development of Kristen Wiig's Cheetah. Again, I said this before, she really could have had a deeper relationship with the other characters, especially since we know that Cheetah and Pedro Pascal's Maxwell Lord are the villains of this movie. We know that eventually Diana is going to have to defeat them in some way. And if Diana had become good friends with both characters, which there's an opportunity for this, the stakes would have been way higher when it came time for her to take them down. And there are some stakes in the final fight sequences, but it's weaker than it could have been. It could have been so much stronger. And also, immediately when Diana meets Maxwell Lord, she has suspicions about him, which I think also sort of sucks some stakes out of the situation that they could have left in. If she liked the guy at first, then we would have really seen the power of the character's charm and exuberance and his ability to win people over. Now, there is a logical explanation to this. Wonder Woman is quite old, and so her intuition is probably very strong. But I think thematically it's stronger if she falls for his act, just like everyone else does. I've seen some other reviews where they say Cheetah seemed unnecessary. No, I think Cheetah added to the plot. Maxwell Lord is not necessarily superpowered, and so there comes a time when we need a villain who can match Diana's power. And that's where Cheetah comes into play. And so I think it does add a good, strong element to the movie. I think it makes the movie better. I just think what was weak about it was the relationship and the fact that we didn't really get a chance to actually care about Kristen Wiig's character. One last thing that I wish had been done better was the final fight sequence, where we finally see Cheetah in her fully developed form square off with Wonder Woman. It was in complete shadow, and I didn't really get to enjoy the fight. I didn't get to see Kristen Wiig, fighting as Cheetah. It was so dark and the CGI was so heavy. And I know Kristen Wiig put in a lot of training to do that fight, so I really wish we got to see her actually do it. Also, they teased that Wonder Woman armor in the trailer, in the poster for the movie, and we barely get to see it in action. I think that they really could have used it a lot more than they did. All of my issues with this film, I feel like, could have been solved just by scrapping the first half hour of this movie and using it instead to deepen the relationships between all of the main cast, heroes and villains alike, and give us a stronger fight sequence, final fight, right? Because that's really why we come to see these movies, is the huge themes of love, and then also the great action sequences, because it is a superhero movie. I think that this was a really well done movie. Could have been better. Definitely worth a watch. It's not the best movie to come out this year, but it is so cool to finally get to see a blockbuster once again, and especially at the holiday season. I think it's a great time to sit down with the family and watch it in your living room, or if you feel comfortable going to see it in theaters. And if you have the opportunity, definitely see it in IMAX. It was a real treat. Thank you for watching this review. Let me know if you've seen it, and if you think there's some merit to a lot of the comments I made, or if you think I missed something.